Hello, hello, hello. Give me a second. Give me a second to get everything set up so I can see the chat at least. Hello, hello, hello. If this is the first time you've been in one of my live streams, my name is Brill. Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. Hopefully, this is not the last time you're going to be in a live stream with me. Just go ahead as you're coming into the chat. Please go ahead and like the video. We want to continue the growth that we have been experiencing lately. So let's talk about mastering the art of detachment. First of all, if you're a woman that is highly emotional, you're a woman that has problems, not attaching or, not detaching from the outcome. You have a problem detaching your emotions from the situation. You have a problem separating yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally from the outcome that you desire in any type of situation. Because mastering the art of loving detachment is a requirement for every area of your life. I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that successfully today. And guess what? It's not going to be a long video. Guess what? The tips are going to be very easy to do that you can literally, when you get out of this live stream today, you're going to be able to start the process of mastering the art of loving detachment. Number one, focus on yourself. Focus on your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. Start looking inward and focus on yourself. Focus on what makes you happy. Focus on learning more about who you are. Focus on your goals, your purpose, your mission. Focus on who you are as a woman or a man. Focus on you. That is the very first step, the very first requirement to mastering the art of loving detachment. Number two, change your mentality. If you're a woman who is very spiritual, religious, or maybe you don't really have any concrete beliefs right now, maybe you are in that process of trying to figure out what you truly believe in, or you're trying to get your spiritual life together. One of the things that have helped me, regardless if you are spiritual, religious, or in between right now, one of the things that helped me progress to that next level of loving detachment is that everything is happening for my benefit or betterment. And I tell myself that all the time. It's no longer just an affirmation. For me, it is a belief. It's ingrained in my psyche to know that everything that's in my world is operating for my betterment. It is operating for me to live great, to live good. It is operating for me to win. If you tell yourself this and you start getting ingrained into your belief system, it will give you substance. Well, not that word. I don't want to use that word. It will give you something to lean on when things aren't necessarily going in the direction that you want it to go in. So you need to change your mentality. It's very important that you stop walking around feeling, acting, believing that the world that you live in is working against you, because it is. If you believe that the world's working against you, that you are not having any success, that everything isn't, nothing is meant for you or for you, then it is. Remember, as a man thinketh, it is. So your mentality is so important. So change your mentality. If you're trying to get to that level of having loving detachment, which is important for healthy relationships across the board. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. I don't care if it's your career that you're focused on. I don't care if it's your education. I don't care if it's your relationship. I don't care what it is. You need to have loving detachment in all things, in all areas of your life. Why? Because you should still want to be in any type of situation and continue to be a separate being, separate spiritually, mentally, emotionally. These things are very important, especially to the dynamic a lot of you ladies want in your relationships. A lot of you want to have feminine and masculine energy roles within your relationship. So you have to learn loving detachment, because loving detachment, it promotes individualism. It promotes separating yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally from other people, from other things, experiences, behaviors. This means that you can still have empathy and sympathy for a person, but you can still leave that particular situation and still have happiness. That's what loving detachment is. There is an expert that talks about loving detachment, and she has coined the phrase. Her name is Martha Beck. if you're interested in her work, because her work is very life open, it's life changing, eye opening, and it's something you really want to master for yourself. And I mastered this years ago. I didn't realize what it was. I didn't realize that I have the ability to separate myself emotionally, spiritually, and mentally from others, but still be able to give them empathy and sympathy. So another thing, make yourself happy. Stop thinking or looking for someone who's going to make you happy. You should be happy within a relationship, and you should be happy without a relationship. Make sure that you have, you learn, you have an understanding of yourself, and you know who you are, to the attune that when someone comes into your world, they're not necessarily there to make you happy. They're there to enhance your happiness. See, enhancing happiness means you're already happy. It means that regardless if that relationship doesn't do well or it doesn't do what you exactly wanted to do, because we all have had that, right? We've all been in that relationship where it didn't do what we thought it was going to do. It wasn't giving what it needed to give, and you needed to walk away from that relationship. A lot of people have a problem with detachment because we have promoted attachment as a form of love. And if you've been watching me long enough, you know that that is not what true love is. True love is being an individual, but being together in happiness and love. You still happy as an individual. So make yourself happy. Make sure you know what that looks like too. Don't go through. Don't be that person that doesn't truly knows what makes them happy in the first place, because they don't know themselves. And a lot of times you need to test this too. You need to test this. A lot of us don't realize, do you know who you truly are? If you were to sit down and write down, who am I? Could you even write a full sentence? Could you write things that aren't accomplishments or accolades? Is that the only thing that you identify with? See, and that's an important question to ask yourself, because you need to focus on yourself. You need to know who you truly are as an individual, as a woman. You need to know what makes you happy. And when someone comes in your life, what's going to enhance your happiness? Because you should be a happy alone, and you should be happy with the person that you are, creating a relationship or building a relationship with. Another thing is, let people find their way. A lot of us, it's human nature to want to dabble and create, and solve people's problems and fix them. Let people find their way. Let people deal with the natural consequences of their actions. Let people make decisions that may not be right. When you are a master at loving detachment, you tend to allow people to have to deal with their consequences. You do not go and try to fix it. You don't try to change it. You don't try to adjust it. You don't even try to give advice or solutions. You allow people to be themselves and learn for the consequences of their actions, because you're going to love them, and you're going to love and have empathy and sympathy while they're going through that particular situation. If you're not invited for advice, don't give advice. This is loving detachment. And I love the fact that Martha Beck really goes into detail of how we've been deceived as, especially within America, I would say in the East, we've been deceived of what love is. A lot of us think love is the person making us happy. Love is us putting their needs before our own. Love is doing any and everything to help that other person avoid natural consequences. They believe that love is, the Disney version. And she talks about breaking that. She talks about it and breaks it down into point, and letting you know that loving detachment works in all areas of your life. If you have loving detachment, this means that you separate yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally from the outcome. This means that you have sympathy and empathy because it didn't go correctly in the manner that you thought it was going to go, but you can still separate yourself from that particular situation, and you can still go on and beyond and learn from that situation. And I believe her work needs to be talked about more. I think it's important work, because I have found that within my relationship, having loving detachment has been a game changer. This means when he is sad, he can come to me and talk about his feelings and his emotions without me getting tangled within my own. This means I can walk away from him having sadness or unhappiness or some type of particular emotion, and I can still be happy regardless if he's sad. When we're talking about Disney love, we're taught not to have that. We're taught to be sad when the other person is sad. When the other person is unhappy, we're taught to also be unhappy. And she, Martha Beck, it's not a book actually. It's not a book. I see the question of what's the name of the book. It's not a book. She's an actual psychologist. And her work is talking about loving detachment. She coined the phrase and she talks about how do you achieve it. And I didn't realize I've achieved it years ago. I remember being in, probably 5 or 6 years within my marriage, and I would be totally invested in his emotions and his expression of his emotions and trying to solve or fix the situation and trying to jump in before the consequence happened. And it made me very unhappy. It made me very unhappy. Think about a person who is constantly taking on everybody else's emotions, everybody else's expressions, and everybody else's consequences. And you're trying to fix them, you're trying to change it, you're trying to prevent a collision before it happens. So I was very overwhelmed, very tired, very anxious, very what if, and plenty of scenarios, always trying to figure out how to have an A, a B, a C, a D, a E, a F. And you can't thrive in that type of energy when you're trying to concern yourself with everybody else's expressions and not your own. So loving detachment is something we should want to get evolved to. I know right now the current conversation is to be unbothered, to be robotic, to not have any emotions. I'll give you all that if that's the first stage of it. I'll let you all have that. I'll let you all go down that path and start just to, if you're overly emotional, then that's okay. That's okay if you want to be unbothered. That's okay if you want to be a little robotic. That's okay if you don't want to assess or be in full expression of emotions. That's okay. But guess what? The next level to be healthy, to separate yourself from the outcome, is to get to loving detachment. To be healthy, loving detachment is what you should aim for, what you should evolve to, because there has been some science, and I know y'all love when I talk about this type of stuff. But guess what? There's been some science that talks about the fact that when you decide to bottle up emotions, emotions create physical symptoms, and physical symptoms create sickness. So you can literally have something that you were suppressing and you were minimizing yourself, and eventually you will get sick because of it. So that's the reason why I can't stand behind this mastering of detachment to that level, because I know I've been following the science for a very long time, and science says that every disease that you currently have or something you're struggling with when it comes to disease, it is a feeling or emotion that has been suppressed. And as long as it's suppressed in the body, physical symptoms start to happen, and physical symptoms start to lead to a disease. So I would say if you're overly emotional, and that's the reason why you really want to master detachment, focus on yourself. Start focusing on yourself. Start trying to find out more about the woman that you currently are. Start trying to figure out that you are more than your education. You're more than your money. You're more than your sex. You're more than you identify with all these things. You identify with accolades. Start figuring out, who am I? Who am I? What type of woman are you? And what does that mean to you? Start really digging deep and focus on yourself so that you don't stay on this detachment. Because like I said before, there's been some science that says that if you continue to be detached and you just push everything down and you ignore all your emotions and you suppress and minimize your emotions, what happens, physical symptoms start to happen. There's a book that I can refer to this. Let me remember what the name is. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second, because I be in the flow of things and I'll forget the name of the book. I think it's called The Body Knows. It's something about the body. I have to, maybe after the live stream, I can pull the book and I can post it to let you all know what I'm talking about. It talks about detachment, because I see so many videos about y'all need to be unbothered, stop having expression, stop having emotions. These things lead to physical symptoms the more you suppress and dismiss feelings. So it's not a good idea. I think it's called the body knows or something, or it's called the code of the body. I don't know. I can't remember the exact title of the book that talks about symptoms from suppressing and dismissing emotions. But there has been some research on it. That's the reason I tell you all, stop trying to be unbothered queens, robotic, and dismiss your emotions, because your emotions are indicators, but there's an issue. And if you ignore the issue becomes bigger, and then the issue becomes bigger. It can result to having some disease or some issue with your body, and you don't want that. Trust me, you do not want it. You don't want it, because I've already made that mistake, so you don't have to. I honestly believe this, and I'm going to be so honest and raw with you all right here. I truly do believe the reason why I have the autoimmune disease is because I went through a phase of detachment. I went through a phase of not acknowledging my emotions and my expression of emotions, and I was just minimizing it and suppressing it. And I truly do believe what happened is everything comes out in the buttermilk, which means eventually you have to deal with those situations instead of suppressing and dismissing those things. So I truly do believe that my body got tired of me dismissing and suppressing. So it said, hey, it had to do something dramatic in order for me to pay attention. And that's what is the reason why I feel like I developed an autoimmune disease, because I was for 5 years or so in my relationship, I was doing what a lot of the wives was telling me, and it was telling me ignore things, suppress things, stop being so outspoken. They was telling me not to just constantly let someone know what I need, when that's one of the things that he admired about me as a woman. He admired me being the woman who spoke up for herself. I've never been a woman that did not speak up for herself. But once I got married, I started listening to other married women, and they were telling me bad advice, basically. And I feel like once I got diagnosed, it was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call, because I've been provided for my entire marriage. I've always had the option to go to work or not go to work. I've been coddled, I've been spoiled. So that's not the reason. If I was to look back at my beginning of my marriage, I can see where I was suppressing and I was dismissing and I was not acknowledging my emotions. And I feel like it can't, like I said, everything comes out in the buttermilk, everything comes out in the wash. Eventually, those things that you suppress, dismiss, and or make small, minute, those things will come back and bite you in the bum. So be very careful with what you ignore. So if you're overly emotional, and that's the reason why you love videos about mastering detachment, focus on yourself, focus on the things that you enjoy, focus on learning more about your spirituality, your mentality, your emotions, focus on yourself. Just be hyper focused on you until you start to want to level up and evolve and go to that next level, so you can graduate to loving detachment. Loving detachment is it's basically the bird's eye view. It's the bird's eye view of being able to have empathy and sympathy for the person that you're with, but being able to walk away or move along and still be happy, even if that person is sad. So I can still be happy even if he's sad. I can still be happy even if he is unhappy. I can still be happy even if he's annoyed. I can still be happy no matter what feelings or emotions that he's going through. I can still be happy. And that's loving detachment. And that's where you want to evolve and level up to. Yes, if you have to start on the ground floor of detachment where you are, trying to just stop being overly emotional and stop being so attached to the outcome, focus on yourself first. Look inward versus outward. And that's going to help you become more detached. The more that you look at everything from a bird's eye view of yourself and how it affects you, and if you look at everything, how does it affect me? It will help you stay detached a whole lot easier. And then you can start growing and evolving to get into loving detachment. You need to be detached to the outcome when it comes to career, business, social media, relationships, every area of your life. You need to learn to be detached from the outcome. Because honestly, if I was to even really get biblical about it, guess what? Control is an illusion. you don't really have control. It doesn't matter how intentional and how purposeful you are in the way that you move, you really don't have control. Because if you had control, you would be able to decide when do you die. You would be able to decide when you're born. You would be able to decide when I'm going to take the next breath. All of these things are done without your input or your knowledge, or you don't have any control over those things in the first place. So release control because you don't have control. Control is an illusion. Stop trying to control people. Let people find their own way and deal with their own natural consequences. Let people stumble through life making mistakes. Let people do all these extra things that you think is not necessary. Let them do it. Learn to allow people to have natural consequences in their life, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you. Trust me when I tell you, having loving detachment is where it's at. Where you're not really attached to any outcome. You're not attached to something happening in the manner you think it should happen. You're not attached to things people do, say, experience, behavior. Just learn how to remove yourself when it's not beneficial to you. That's all you have to learn. Learn how to remove yourself when it's not beneficial to you. Learn how to master loving detachment in all areas of life. And I trust me when I tell you, you will be happy. You will be ecstatic, running over with happiness. You'll be able to be happy when everybody's sad. You'll be able to be happy when everybody else is crying. You'll be able to be happy when everybody's going through all their moods and their changes and their expressions of emotions. You'll still be able to be steadfast in your happiness. But you have to learn how to look inward, focus on yourself, change your mentality. If you think that the world is beating you up, or nothing's going in the way that it should go, or that you're not winning in the world, in the life that you're currently living, change your mentality. Because if you're not winning, then you're not. If it's not going in the way that it should, then it isn't. You have to learn the way that you think is very important. So change your mentality. If you wake up every single day and you say everything is going to my betterment or my good, then it relieves you of the pressure of being concerned about outcomes, because you know that everything that's going on in your world is going to work out no matter what happens today in your world. And maybe it wasn't a good day. Maybe it didn't go in the manner that you think it should go. Maybe someone didn't do what you think they should do. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because in your world, everything's going to your betterment or your good. So you know, no matter the way the things are going currently, eventually it will swing, and it will go your way eventually, because everything's working to your good or your betterment. So change your mentality. Release control. Like I said, control is an illusion. You don't really have it. You really can't decide if you're born. You can't decide if you die. You can't decide if you're going to take a next breath. So since control is an illusion, stop trying to control. Stop trying to control people. Stop trying to control things. Stop trying to control the outcome. Because like I said before, go back to number one, everything that's happening in your world is to your betterment and your good. So you don't need to control anything, because eventually everything will do what it's supposed to do for you. Everything is going to happen for you. Everything that you want and you desire and you dream of and you think about that you want for yourself will happen. Make yourself happy. Understand that no one is coming in your life to make you happy. You're supposed to be happy on your own. You're supposed to carry happiness with you in every situation, in every relationship, in every career, in every business, or whatever you're currently doing. Happiness is something that's uniquely you. Happiness is something that you uniquely have. You should not be dependent on other people to make you happy. If you're not happy, figure out what will make you happy. Figure out how to carry happiness with you everywhere that you go. When a person comes in your life, they're there to enhance your life, to make it better, to make you happy. But you should already be happy. So you shouldn't count on other people to make you happy. Let people experience natural consequences. I don't care if you are a parent. Let them experience natural consequences. Stop trying to fix, change, make things better for other people, and you'll be so much happier in your life. Because the thing is, a lot of people get bogged down with trying to fix, change, or make things better for someone else, when they should just let people deal with natural consequences. Trust me when I tell you, natural consequences will help a person grow and level up. People will go to the next level with self-reflection and growth. They won't go there if you're always trying to be a fixer or you're always trying to make things better for them. And this will make you overall happier when you're not concerned with trying to make things better for another person. So let people find their way. Let people deal with natural consequences of their actions. Stop trying to control everything, and you'll reach this status, this state of loving detachment. And people will grow up being around you too. And to help you on your way, get invested with exercise. Exercise helps you stay focused on yourself. Meditation, journaling, all these things will help you stay focused on yourself so you won't get distracted or get invested in someone else's outcome. You want to master loving detachment because you're going to be happy overall in life, not just in your relationship. Anything that you do, if you're not attached to the outcome, you're not attached with the consequence, you're not attached with what may happen or what if, what scenario, you can be so happy when it doesn't go your way. You'll be happy even if it doesn't turn out in the manner that you think it should go, because you already know. Remember, number one, everything in your world is working to your betterment or good. So even if it didn't go well or great on that first try, it's going to go well or great on that second try. You'll be so much happier overall. You won't be like the rest of the world. The rest of the world is operating in attachment to others. They're attached to the outcome. They're attached to a relationship. They're attached to a job. They're attached to a career. They're attached to happiness. They're attached to so many different ideologies, and they don't understand why they're miserable when it doesn't work out. And I've talked about this before, honestly. I talked about how in relationships, the masculine and feminine energy have to thrive on individuality. Thriving on individuality helps you to become better as the individual you are, and you're not infected by someone else's expression of emotions. You're not infected by someone else's outcome. You're not infected when someone is off their game. You want to be an individual within these relationships and come together and enhance. You do not want to go into these relationships thinking, I'm getting happiness from this relationship, I'm getting love from this relationship. All these things are things you should have on your own. Before you go into relationships, be a complete individual first. Because relationships really thrive on two people coming together, two individuals coming together, creating a great relationship. A lot of us think it's two individuals coming together, finding parts of ourselves, and that's incorrect. All right, so let's see what everybody's saying. I've just been talking. I think I answered that question. So true. For me, it's weight. When I don't feel my feelings, I overeat. And does. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. Like I talked about self-soothing. I do the same thing. I cannot allow my emotions to be suppressed. It's just not me. And it's not healthy for the feminine energy being to suppress emotions, because what you're supposed to do is take those emotions and level up and evolve. Those emotions are your key to open up the next level for you. But if you suppress them and you dismiss them and you minimize them, then that next level to you is locked. You're never going to be able to transmute those emotions to get to that next level. So that's the reason why I know what I do. I know myself very well. I want you to start learning yourself very well so that you can deal with what you're dealing with. If you're overeating because you're not expressing the emotions, then it's time to start expression. It's time to start expressing those emotions instead of dismissing them and minimizing them and acting as though they don't exist. And detach from the stigma. Absolutely. Detachment is important for all areas of life. You will be so much happier overall if you stop attaching things to your individuality. The thing is, this is not a popular opinion. It's not a popular opinion. A lot of people like to believe that they have to, it's a couple, but it's two individuals that make a healthy relationship, not a couple. Hopefully you understand that, because I want to make sure I'm explaining to myself where you get the meaning, get my drift, get the gist of what I'm saying, because it's important. What's been taught about love is that y'all are talking about couples. Couples don't lead to healthy relationships. It's two individuals lead to a healthy relationship. Two people who understand themselves and operate in their individuality, getting together, they create healthy relationships, not a couple. Why? Because a couple, normally they're looking for the other person to have something that they don't have. And I mean, people who are looking for the other person to have happiness. People who are looking for the other person to be able to manage their emotions. Usually, some unhealthy thought or unhealthy idea that creates an unhealthy couple. So it's not a couple that's going to lead to happiness. It's two individuals that will do that, because those two individuals understand themselves on that basic level of who am I? Who am I? What I like, and then they get with the other person and they can respect who that person is. They don't try to change them. They don't try to fix them. They don't try to help them avoid natural consequences. They respect who that person is as an individual. That is what leads to healthy relationships. And psychologists have been saying this for years. The thing is, in the relationship space, you don't have many people who've experienced healthy relationships, so they don't know how to explain it in the first place. So they're always looking for couples. And you shouldn't be. This should actually be good news for women, because this means, guess what? You don't have to change. You don't have to minimize yourself. You don't have to make yourself small. You can let your light shine bright. If I'm saying that as an individual, you're stronger within a relationship, you don't have to minimize your expression of emotions. You don't have to change who you are as a woman. You don't have to make yourself small. You can let your light shine bright. That should be good news. But some people don't want to accept that, because some people aren't looking for a healthy dynamic. They've been taught incorrect, and they want to continue on that same dialogue. They want to continue searching for something that really isn't healthy. You should be an entire, complete individual before you even want to seek out a relationship. This means before you get in a relationship, you need to make sure you detach from outcomes in all areas of your life. You should focus on yourself. Change your mentality. Changing your mentality is making sure that you're not trying to control situations or fix people. Realize that everything that happens in your world is for your betterment or good. Make yourself happy. When you get into a relationship, this is the reason why. I'm going to say this, it's about time to get off, because I have another thing I'm going to be doing today. Another thing that I keep seeing when it comes to these Disney relationships that are being promoted, this Disney idea of love, most people are looking for something that's going to make them happy. Most people are looking for something that they don't have. They don't have emotional intelligence, so they look for someone who's going to help them with that. They are very insecure, so they look for someone that's going to help them with that. They don't have a healthy mentality, so they're looking for someone who doesn't have those things. And looking for someone who doesn't have these things, this means you're not a complete individual yet. So you need to, slow down, get these things together first, so that you can be an individual in a healthy relationship. Because what's being promoted is that if you are mentally, you have mental issues, find someone who is healthy, and they're going to help you with these things. If you're highly insecure, find someone who's going to help you with your self-confidence. If you are suppressing your emotions or you're shut down, you're looking for someone who's going to open all these locks. All of these ideas are unhealthy. All of these ideas will not lead to a healthy relationship. Healthy relationship is being an individual, knowing who you are, being able to not have attachments to the outcome, knowing that you don't have control of another human being, knowing that they need to find their way. You don't try to help them avoid natural consequences. And the person is happy before you even come on the scene. How do you use your feelings to get to the next level? I did a video, I think it's called Dark Feminine and Dark Femininity Open to I can't remember the title, but I did a video on telling you all how to do that. In a nutshell, all you do is that you stop dismissing, suppressing, or minimizing your emotions, and start asking yourself why. Why do I feel this way? Why do I need to express myself in this manner? Ask yourself why, and that will help you move to the next level. A lot of people don't realize that they are locked in, they are locked down emotionally because they minimize, suppress, and act like they don't have any emotions and they're unbothered. But guess what? This means that next level of emotional intelligence is locked to them because you don't know why you're not addressing why you feel this way. So you can't go to that next level. And remember, the ultimate thing that you should want as a feminine energy being is mastering loving detachment. This means that your happiness is not entwined with somebody else's. Your you're not trying to fix, change, control another human being. So that is how you're going to take yourself to that next level. Stop suppressing, minimizing, being the unbothered queen. Stop being robotic and address the why, so that you can open up that next level of emotional intelligence, so that you can master loving detachment. Loving detachment, it doesn't mean that you don't have emotions though. That's the thing. It doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It just means that you can have emotions and you don't put your emotions on another being. It means you don't attach your emotions to another person. You can have these emotions, work through them, and they're not you're not utilizing it or using them against another person. That's all it means. You can still be in a relationship. You can still feel. You can still have emotions. You can still have expression, but you don't sit here and attach those things to a person. And you don't want to have it attached to a person. I talked about this in that masculine and feminine book. What was it? I don't remember the titles, y'all. I always forget my titles, and I need to do better. I need to do better because I don't remember my titles. But I did talk about how masculine and feminine energy needs to be individuals, so they do not impart or mess with that energy. It has to be an individual. What type of woman feels the need to control others? What causes that? On the other hand, what causes a woman to be overly detached? How to have balance? Okay, that's a lot of questions. Let's start hitting one at a time. What type of woman feels the need to control others? A woman who doesn't know how to release the reins. She is overly stimulated, overly emotional. A person who creates plans within plans. These women usually do not know how to release control. They believe that they have some type of control, and control is an illusion. And that causes that because a lot of times it's disappointment. Maybe they have been around people who have disappointed them in the past. So they have figured out, okay, I'm never going to be disappointed again. So I'm going to put things in place and never be disappointed. It could be so many different things. It could be childhood. It could be where you were a child and maybe your parents did not do certain things for you, and it put you in that space where you have to control the environment because you grew up in an unhealthy childhood. You had an unhealthy childhood. It could be so many things that causes a woman to want to control things. On the other hand, what causes a woman to be overly detached? Usually, childhood could cause a woman to be overly detached. Heartbreak could cause a woman to be overly detached. Being in any type of relationship that causes disappointment could cause overly detached woman. How to have balance? Having balance is reaching for loving detachment. That is balance. Not having a attachment to the outcome of anything in all areas of your life. And I know it sounds like, oh, this means you don't care. It means you do care, but you know that it's life. You know that you don't have control over life anyway, because since that's an illusion. So you know that regardless if it doesn't work out this time, it will work out the next time. So you can have, I wouldn't say necessarily, would I use the word balance? No, I wouldn't absolutely use the word balance. I would say you need to evolve and level up to the next level. A lot of you all came in late, but I was talking about a psychologist. Her name is Martha Beck. If you want to go and look at her work, she talks about how loving detachment would be the correct thing to have within a healthy relationship. A woman who wants the best outcome, perhaps. Yeah, I would say a woman who wants the best outcome. Because, like I said before, when you have had disappointment, I would say it's a woman who has a lot of disappointment, and it might have started as early as childhood. And she has learned through via life that if she didn't have control or she didn't do certain things, then it wouldn't work out well. But that's a mentality that she needs to change. Because when you're trying to get to the point of loving detachment, your mentality has to change. You no longer look at the world as I got to sit here and control A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You look at the world as it doesn't matter what's happening in my world, everything is working to the betterment of me. And that's how I look at everything in my life. I don't sit here and think about, oh, well, this didn't go well. Well, maybe I need to do this here, do 1, 2, and 3. I look at it, hey, natural consequences. It's not my issue. It's not my thing to try to fix or change people. Let people deal with natural consequences. I detach from the outcome, the behavior, the experience, in all areas of life. And that has made me a whole lot more happier than be concerned about what other people are doing. And it's also made me show up as the individual that I want to be in all areas of life. This means it helps me to be able to focus on myself, me, myself, and I. It helps me to focus on me, myself, and I. When I am not connected to everybody else's outcome, everybody else's consequences, I'm not trying to change, fix, or arrange, or make people see or do things. So the art of loving detachment is what we should be trying to obtain, because you do not want to be a couple. The misconception is trying to be a couple. You don't want to be a couple. Have no desire to be a couple. Reject the idea of being a couple. You want to be an individual in a relationship. He wants to be an individual in a relationship. It goes both ways, because of the fact that if you are an individual in a relationship, this means that if he is unhappy, he is sad, he is anxious, you can still be happy. Remember, you're not connected to his outcome. You're not connected to his emotions. You're not connected to these things, so you can still be yourself. And that is what we should be pushing. Psychology actually talks about this. I'm not the first person to have these ideals. It's actually out there. It's just that what's pushed more is to be a couple. So that's pushed more. So when I say I love me more, I'm selfish, me, myself, and I, a lot of people get turned off. They get turned off by that content. They don't understand that what I'm actually doing it from the perspective of a healthy person. That is actually, the narrative is pushed by psychology. But some people don't like science, you know? They don't like these things because the thing that takes priority is Disney. Disney loves its priority, right? Most people say, oh, we want a couple. And y'all celebrate these people, we talk about couples all the time. And couples, I'm not saying it can't be healthy. I'm not even going to talk too much more about against the wording. I'm just going to say it is better to be an individual in a relationship than to be a couple. Because the idea of couple, what people say that are couples today, it just means that y'all are not, y'all are attached to the outcome. And see, I'm never attached to that. I'm never attached to the outcome. Not saying I don't have feelings, I don't have emotions, but I already realized, like I said before, everything that happens in my world is to the betterment for me. And I don't have to have or be attached to the outcome because of it. So I'm a healthy individual in a relationship. My husband is a healthy individual in a relationship. And when we are together, we enhance each other. He is not taking something from me that he doesn't have. And we're not talking about masculine and feminine gifts, because that's different. That's a whole different conversation. I'm saying that if he did, a lot of times what's being promoted for relationships is one person has a lack of emotional intelligence and the other person has a whole lot of emotional intelligence, because of the fact that that person is supposed to lean on that person for something they don't have. And that's what's taught us about love and relationships, even though it's not healthy. It's not healthy. The interesting thing about it is psychology doesn't push it. Science doesn't push it. These are Disney view ideas of love. So I'll let you all digest that, because I know that it's a lot to take in, to realize that what you should be doing as a woman, okay? What you should be doing as a woman, you should develop yourself as a woman and your individuality. You should learn techniques to protect yourself and yourself and your individuality, because you're going to need that in healthy relationships. The person that you want to be in a relationship with, you want to make sure that they are healthy individuals also. So when y'all get together, you enhance anything that you do. He's not leaning on you because he is emotional insecure, or he lacks emotional intelligence, or whatever, or there could be a multitude of issues. When you're not operating like that anymore, you have healthy relationships. So I don't take it upon myself to worry about trying to fix, change, I've always said it on my line, on my page, that like it's not, I was not put here to argue with you or to make you believe or make you see my point. To me, it is better for you to have natural consequences of your actions than versus for me to try to fix you. That's on having loving detachment. Yes, do I want to see you do well? Absolutely. Or I wouldn't do this because I could be doing something else. I have a thriving, beautiful life. I could be doing something else. But I take time out because I want to see women develop their individuality. I'm so tired of women being eaten up by some wounded or toxic individual they get in a relationship with. And I see it over and over and over because what we've been taught overall is to get in a relationship and depend on someone else to have something that you don't. And what you want in healthy relationships, you want to be a healthy individual overall. Start focusing on yourself, me, myself, and I. Figure out what makes you you. I've done it. I did this 2 years ago. I asked everyone on my live stream, "Who am I?" Could you even sum it up? Some of you all don't know who you are. And you cannot use accolades or accomplishments. You cannot say, "Oh, I am a educated." Blah, blah, blah. No, we don't care. You cannot say, "Oh, I have this much money." We don't care. You cannot say, "Oh, I'm good in bed." We don't care. That is not who you are. Those are things you identify with. Who are you? Start developing your individuality. Pastor White says, so basically you're good as an individual and on your own, but you're enhanced with the person who is also good on their own. So if things go south, both are fine because they were first on hold on their own. Thank you. Thank you, babe. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you all the way. Thank you so much. That is summing up what I'm saying. Go straight to her comment. You have been lied to. That's the reason why we have like a 50%, is it 50 or 60 now, of divorce rates, because of the fact that everybody is searching outside of themselves for things that you should have on your own. You should love yourself so much that you're not out here looking for love. You should love yourself so much that you're not out here looking for emotional intelligence. You should love yourself so much. You're not out here looking for someone to prop you up because you're so insecure. You should love yourself so much and be an individual. And when two people get in a relationship, that's two people in a relationship that enhance themselves. You're not necessarily a couple. Couple is something that we've been taught, but it's not necessarily the healthy way. I'm not saying you can't use the word couple anymore. You can. I'm just telling you, I'm using it because I want you to have an understanding of where I'm coming from and how I've learned about healthy relationships. And I'm thankful for it because now, regardless, I'm not saying, y'all, I'm not saying I don't have feelings. I'm not saying I don't have emotions. I'm not saying that if he goes and does something that I don't have or feel from it, I can just detach from it though. Because I have learned and mastered the art of loving detachment. I have learned that even if he goes out and he makes a mistake, that he has to learn from natural consequences. A lot of us don't realize that we try to protect the people that we love from natural consequences. The thing is, when you do that, you stop growth. That is the thing. And when I learned this years ago, why did I learn it? Because I was a young woman who got married young. I've been married for 21 years. In August, I'll be married 22. We're going on vacation, y'all. So we're going on vacation to celebrate our 22 anniversary in August. So I'm so excited. But I had to learn loving detachment because I would be so invested when he made a mistake, or I'd be so invested when he had an altercation. I'd be so invested, and I couldn't detach my emotions and things from that. And I had to start studying this stuff so that I would know what's the correct way to have a healthy relationship. Think about it. I'm going to give you an example of this because I see it all over social media. Here we go. Here's a good one because I saw it on social media this morning. On TikTok, there's a popular trend of wives jumping in front of their husbands, trying to fight because he's soft-spoken. Okay. Actually, this shows two things. This shows the role reversal where the masculine and feminine energy is not in alignment. Then also it shows that she is connected to him in a manner that is not healthy. Why? Because if he is being soft, I don't care how soft spoken he is. If he is in an altercation, natural consequences. You don't sit here and jump in to try to save somebody or fix something or change something so they don't experience the natural consequences of their actions. What if he was soft spoken and talking junk to another man? Are you gonna jump out there and try to fight that man because your man got a slick mouth? No. What you should have done was sit back in your feminine energy and having loving detachment. Let that man go out here and get his behind beat. If he get his behind beat, guess what? Natural consequences. That shiny nose or black eye, he'll learn next time. He either gonna learn how to fight better, or learn how to call the police, or get him some thugs to fight his battles. I don't know, but he'll learn. Natural consequences is required. And a lot of us don't understand this because of the fact we've been taught incorrectly. We've been taught to attach so much to an outcome, to an experience, to a behavior, to a relationship, to a career, to a business. And you need to practice loving detachment. The people in your life will grow when you start looking at another person and saying, oh, well, natural consequences, let them figure it out. Stop trying to fix, change, or jump in to take that hit if they haven't even tried to do the things that's going to correct their situation. All right, so let's see what that is. By allowing men to attach to us, it makes them obsessed. It can be good if the woman gets what she wants. Men should attach, and women should detach. Where a man, masculine energy, immediately attaches. Think about it. Even in the Bible, it talks about the man being the head of household. He attaches anyway. It's masculine energy, but feminine energy is wild. It is free. It is chaotic. It's not meant to be contained. Think about Mother Nature. How many of you all are containing storms around here? I know I don't. I'm still old school. I'm from the country. We go and sit in the corner. We cut off all the lights, the television, everything, and we let God handle his business. And that's on feminine energy. So masculine energy attaches. Feminine energy is supposed to, you're supposed to master loving detachment. Because you're supposed to be free. You're supposed to be chaotic. You're supposed to be that storm. And I did a whole video about that. If I could remember the title, I would direct you all to that title. I don't know. I cannot remember. I'm sorry. I'm bad about remembering my own titles. So what we need to focus on is self-help, which includes doing the inner work and finding out who we are as individuals, being happy as individuals, and loving ourselves, which equals loving detachment. Amen? Amen. Let me hear the choir say, amen. Because the reason why you see such a mess out here in relationships is because women are attached, and it was never meant that way. It is meant for the masculine energy to attach to everything that he claims. He's masculine. Masculine energy attaches. It claims. It gives you, a man literally gives you his last name when you're married for a reason, because he's attaching himself to you. He's making sure that you are his role and responsibility. But of course, we've been taught wrong. So we have a whole bunch of people so focused on the outcome, so invested in trying to fix or change that, and they're so attached. Feminine energy was literally meant to be free. It's like Mother Nature. You all need to stop trying to contain a storm. Containing a storm is the reason why we have so many issues going on in the world. So many issues going on in the world. I call it feminine rage. That's what I call it. That's the reason why I see so many women mad with men right now. It's feminine rage. Femininity was never meant to be contained. It was meant to be protected. It was meant to be coddled. It was meant to be spoiled. It was meant to be taken care of in that manner, but it was never meant to be contained. So being minimized, being, being done the way it is being done, that's the reason why we see so much feminine rage happening around us, where you see women that are really angry. Women are angry right now. But we need to be individuals. Create loving detachment. Feminine energy literally needs to be individual, separate. That's the reason why you see so many women that get so attached, they act crazy, because they were never meant to be attached in that manner. They were supposed to sometimes eventually develop loving detachment. They were never meant to be attached to the level that I see, where I see women destroying men's property, women stabbing or hurting men. These are attachment symptoms, I call them. That's what you get when you start doing it out of order and it starts becoming unhealthy. Then you see the attachment symptoms. This means you start seeing a woman who doesn't have a mind of her own. She only thing she does is spew his talking points. You see a woman who doesn't have a woman who is consistently in sad or happy because he is. You see a woman that when he everything isn't going his way, she's trying to fix it or change it or figure out how to get him from experiencing natural consequences. These are attachment symptoms. You see them all over social media. You see it all over social media. And most people get triggered when I tell you you're supposed to be individual, but it's healthy. I just want you to do it where in a manner where you're going to be happy. You can truly be happy, but you have to learn how to create it for yourself and become an individual. Also, it is safe to say that loving detachment causes others to respect you. You're not being a pygmy, you're going with the flow, but you're still nurturing in a healthy way while having your own life. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm over women. I'm tired of women experiencing attachment symptoms. I see it all over social media. I literally posted on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, if you're not, I don't know why, and I'm not sure what you're doing. We always have a lively discussion going on over there. Always. I posted a video where a young lady was standing up and she was having a good old time holding her man's hand, and he was ignoring her. Like, I'll be darned. If I'm gonna sit here being in a mood, grooving and having a good time, whatever, I'm gonna do that alone if that's what I need to do. Okay. And I want someone who is gonna notice that I am in the mood, grooving, and have a good time, and join me. Not someone who's gonna continue to act like they don't want to be there. He acted as though he was trying to stay hidden. So if I were her, I'd be like, "This is a whole red flag. I wonder who we got on the side or what's going on here." Because when a man hides you, he hiding you for a reason. He hiding you for a reason. So I see attachment symptoms all over social media. I see women trying to chase men down. They're so attached to the outcome, so attached to trying to get the ring that it's very toxic. It's very toxic. You're supposed to be a happy individual, a woman who knows herself, a woman who is me, myself, and I. Remember, your goal in a relationship is always to be the feminine energy being, and being a feminine energy being is to be that storm. A storm cannot be contained, and you should not be either. You should be able to express yourself. You should be able to be with someone who's going to operate in his masculine energy. You should be able to rest in your femininity and not worry about what this person over here is doing, because you have loving detachment. You have loving detachment. So you know whatever consequence he's going to have to deal with because his actions, that is what it is. You're not trying to go over here and correct it and save him. That is not your job. That is not your position. That is not your role. And this right here, this video, hopefully the girls, the pedestal wives, the community have an understanding of where I'm coming from. Because it's important for us to start promoting healthy relationships. We want two individuals to be in a relationship that's going to be healthy versus a couple who they're just leaning on the other person that doesn't have what they have. And that's not talking about masculine and feminine energy either, because we know that's a whole nother conversation. But let's start getting that loving detachment. First of all, focus on yourself. If your mentality is trash, change it. Realize that it's your world. And your world, honestly, everybody is living in their world. Everybody's living within a bubble of their own making. You're living in your world. So you should know that everything in your world is coming out to the betterment or your good. So you don't have to try to control anything. You can release control. You can let it go. You can make yourself happy. You can stop trying to fix people, change people. You can allow people to find their own way and let them deal with the consequences. How does having loving detachment affect the man? When a man recognizes a woman who has loving detachment, what my experience, I'm talking about my experience. I'm not going to talk about someone else's because I can only talk from my own perspective. In my relationship, my husband knows that he could be unhappy and I will be happy. what it does for him, it allows him to work through his own emotions. So he's gotten even more emotionally mature. His EQ has risen because he had to deal with his own emotions. He can't use me or the things that I'm doing as a crutch. So that's what happens. And this also helps him to thrive in his masculine energy, because this means he gets that satisfaction of knowing that he achieved something, he understood something, or he made something better for himself. He doesn't have to lean on me for certain things. And so it's very helpful to masculine energy. And that's how it benefits him. I didn't even see the second question, but I answered it. And that's what you want. I think that we actually live in a world where I feel like masculine energy is being handicapped and feminine energy is being eliminated. That is what's currently going on. Masculine energy is being handicapped, and feminine energy they're trying to decimate and eliminate feminine energy. But it benefits the person you're in a relationship if you have love and detachment, because this means they will have to work through their own emotions and won't have to use you as a crutch. They won't be able to say, oh, well, you made me this way. If they have to work through it, they can find out why they're feeling certain things, and it'll help them raise their emotional intelligence. And that's what you want out of every person that you are interacting with. You want people to be better. I feel like being in loving detachment myself, I have made other people better. Because yes, when you get to know me and understand what my perspective and understand where I'm coming from, you become better, because you realize that I am not attached to the outcome with you. I'm not attached, or I'm not going to try to fix you or change you or try to make you in a different person. You're going to deal with your natural consequences. So you're going to become a better person for you, not for me, for you. And that is the beauty of loving detachment. And that's why every woman needs to have it for yourself. All right, so I don't see any other questions, but I wanted to come here and do that live stream. Before I let you all go today, just remember my workshop is happening at the end of May. I am going to be doing three separate workshops at the end of the May. May 28th workshop is full. May 29th and May 30th is open. If you're interested, get your ticket, because it is very limited. I go for intimate space. I go for intimacy. So I make sure that I have a small group of women. I don't ever overpack anything that I'm doing because of that. So if you're interested, grab your ticket. The link is in the live stream. It's first come, first serve for 29th or 30. But if you reach out to me, you say, I really want to be there with you on your live training on the 29th, send me an email and I will try to see what I can do. And the people who have already purchased your ticket, you will receive an email on further instructions. And I will see you all on the next one. You all have a great day. Love you. Bye.